Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. Since I technically finished school now and also came of age in early February, I finally decided to give my childhood and teenage years a proper goodbye. And what would be a better farewell than me confessing some embarrassing things, right? Anyways, I'm here today to drop some of my K-pop confessions. Since only talking about my own confessions would be boring, I linked a Google form in my description in which you can submit your own confessions. So, if you want to be featured in one of my videos, please feel free to fill out said form. Also, before we start, I just wanted to quickly mention that some of these confessions have nothing to do with my opinions and beliefs today. I have grown and matured a lot since I joined the K-pop fandom and definitely used to be much more toxic back then. With that being said, let's start. I used to feel like I had to dislike Blackpink. My only excuse for this unforgivable behavior is that I was still quite immature when Blackpink debuted, since I was only 13 at the time and easily influenced by people around me. Anyways, why did I feel like it, you may ask? Well, I was and still am an ARMY, and after Blackpink got a lot of attention, many ARMYs were scared that Blackpink would steal the spotlight from BTS and therefore started hating on them and nagging about stupid things. I mean, some of them are still doing it today, but I thankfully was able to overcome my stupidity. I'm still not the biggest fan, but that's only because I don't enjoy most of their songs. I like the girls, though. Confession 2. I wasn't able to tell Solar and Wheein apart. I don't know if it's only me, but Solar and Wheein actually look quite similar. They literally look like sisters. Honestly, I still mix those two up at times, even though Mamamoo is one of my favorite girl groups out there. Confession 3. When I first got into K-pop, I was a huge Koreaboo. I feel like this is such a basic thing to say in a confession video, but well, I guess I also have to admit it. Again. I was 13 when I started listening to K-pop and thought I was cool and quirky because I did, and started saying random Korean stuff, because I thought that's what K-pop stans did. At this point I want to apologize to every Korean out there, because I was disgusting back then. Thank God, I came to my senses. Confession 4. I slightly scratched my map of the Seoul Persona version 3 poster while dancing to How You Like That. I'm still mad at myself for scratching my poster, even though you can barely see the scratch. I guess this is the reason why I usually don't do K-pop choreographies. This is all Miss Corona's fault, because I only started learning the dance because I was bored in quarantine. Anyways, let's move on. Confession 5. I usually still listen to songs from artists that are problematic. I know this sounds so bad at first, but let me explain. If you think about it, the K-pop fandom tends to push scandals way more than Western music stans. Oh no, some K-pop idol is accused of doing drugs? Well, almost all Western artists do so as well, and for some reason they are still successful. Besides that, I feel like you don't need to necessarily like a person to acknowledge their work. For example, there is a girl in school I don't get along with, but she is a good singer and I appreciate that, besides not liking her. Separating the artist from their work is actually a way of becoming more open-minded when it comes to art. This obviously does not mean that we shouldn't hold them accountable for their wrongdoings. Confession 6. I still get anxiety whenever a non-K-pop friend asks me to play some music. Trigger warning, mentions of bullying. So, I used to get bullied quite a lot back in middle school, and me starting to like K-pop and talking about it to my so-called friends didn't make it better at all. K-pop, and especially BTS being my safe space at the time, led me to being hurt easily when someone insulted them, which put me in an even darker place. Anyways, when I started to go to high school, I found myself amazing friends who don't have anything against it, and one of my friends even became an ARMY. Even though my friends are accepting and literally don't care about it, I still get anxiety whenever someone asks me to play some music, since I'm still scared of getting rejected for liking K-pop. I know this is dumb as heck, but I can't help myself. What should you guys learn from this? Don't bully people over things they like, because they might have to deal with major anxiety for the rest of their lives. Confession 7. I cried in the bus on the way to a BTS concert. So, I got the chance to go to a BTS concert in Berlin in 2018, and let me tell you, that day was a huge roller coaster ride. I didn't sleep a lot, I didn't eat. It was just a mess, but explaining the whole thing would be too complicated, so let's only talk about the reason why I started to cry in the bus. I was still 15 at the time, which meant that I wasn't allowed to enter the venue without an adult. I actually tried to get a ticket for my mom as well, but I ended up with only one. After joining some army WhatsApp groups, I finally found myself someone who was willing to take me with them into the venue. So, before the concert started, we decided to quickly go back to the hotel, because I had lot of merch with me, but since there was construction work, we couldn't use the subway normally and had to also take the bus, which took us longer. Anyways, after going to the hotel, I got a text from the person who was willing to take me with them and said that I should hurry, because people were already lining up to get into the venue. Even though there was still enough time, I got super stressed, because said person said that they would go in without me if I didn't hurry. So, no, I got super stressed and had no other choice than taking the subway to the last station possible and then take the bus from there. So, we got into the bus, but for some reason the bus broke down and we had to wait for another bus, and said person still kept pestering me about going in without me. 15-year-old me was stressed as heck, because I thought that I wouldn't be able to see BTS and started to cry in the bus, while everyone kept looking at me weirdly. Anyways, at the end of the day I got into the venue and had the time of my life. I'm still mad at this person, though. Confession 8. I don't care about fandoms anymore. I'm mostly just here for the music. I don't know if I just grew out of it, but I literally don't care about fandoms, fan wars, and so on. Back into the day I used to be up to date with so many artists and knew about fan wars and stuff, but now I simply ignore them. K-pop is for me a source of fun and not something I want to argue over. I even started using my social media less than before, because I just got tired of all the hate and negativity. Confession 9. Most boy groups bore me. Please don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that boy groups are generally bad, but for some reason it's way harder for me to enjoy their music and other content than it is with girl groups, and I actually can't tell you why. Even if I try to get into a certain boy group, I tend to get bored at some point and then never come back to them. Literally the only boy group I'm seriously interested in is BTS. The rest are only girl groups. Confession 10. I started listening to K-pop because I thought ҳyuna was hot in the crazy MV. I actually think this is a valid reason, because ҳyuna is Chief's kiss. No, but seriously, I came across Crazy by 4 Minute and something about the badass female energy lured me in. Thank you ҳyuna for that one. And this, my dear friends, is already the end of today's video. I know my confessions weren't that special, but I hope you still got entertained by them. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to fill out my form, which you can find in my description. Also leave a like and also subscribe if you haven't already. With that being said, bye guys.